Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Level Up Your Game with AWS Cloud webinar series presented by Stormit. As an AWS Advanced Tier partner at Stormit, we spend a lot of time learning and getting our hands dirty with AWS services so we can help companies to make the most with what AWS Cloud has to offer. In this series, we are going to focus on how iGaming companies can leverage the AWS cloud for their businesses. We will cover topics such as accelerate your game with AWS Edge services. The next one will be scale your game with the power of AWS cloud. And the last one, secure your game with the most secure global cloud. And we will be guiding you together with Adam.
Hi guys, thanks Nazar for having me here.
Perfect. And we will, together with Adam, we will do our best to navigate you through the jungle of AWS services. And we will focus on those that are most important for iGaming industry and kind of really specific use cases. The first question we hear a lot from iGaming companies is, can we actually use AWS Cloud as an industry? Or can we use AWS for production environments? And it's partially because there was some confusion with AWS's terms of service in the past, but AWS is recently really vocal and proud about the references from iGaming industry. So here we have some of the names and additional information can be actually found on online on dedicated landing page that AWS created for iGaming, and it was launched recently. But really, you can find some useful information there regarding the compliance, regarding on-prem options that you have from AWS, and some really good case studies where customers actually sharing their experience actually working with AWS. But today, as mentioned, we will focus on AWS Edge services and how it can accelerate the game and speed. We will talk about AWS Global Infrastructure. We will explore how AWS has built a worldwide network that ensures minimal latency and the benefit it brings for you as an iGaming operator or iGaming company. In the end, we will also share some real world examples with AWS architecture diagram so that you can actually put all pieces together. But first, let's start actually with why is low latency so critical for iGaming? Because iGaming involves real-time interactions, such as making moves in a multiplayer game, placing bets, or reacting to live events. And players expect immediate response to their actions. And high latency can lead to players' frustration, and this leads to players abandoning a game or platform if they experience frequent delays or disruption in gameplay. And this influences the revenue generation because satisfied players are likely to spend more time and money while playing. And here we are actually moving to the global infrastructure part, and Adam will continue.
Thank you Nazar for the introduction. So, how is AWS able to solve what was mentioned in the previous slide? With more than 200 services, AWS can offer any kind of deployment strategy. Do you need a virtual machine? No problem. Do you need to deploy Docker or Kubernetes application? No problem. There are even more methods to do so, but today we mainly focus on fast delivery rather than hosting solutions. So let's get into that. So today we will talk about services that can help you accelerate your game. These are CloudFront, Global Accelerator, and Lambda Edge and CloudFront functions. These services work together to cache content at edge locations and execute serverless functions closer to your players, reducing latency and can help you also enhance security. But also overall, without caching, we have an acceleration via Global Accelerator or CloudFront. And here are some additional edge services. We have Route 53 DNS and also security services like AWS WAF and Shield. AWS WAF and Shield work together to mitigate threats closer to your players and enhance security. And we will talk about them in a Secure Your Game webinar. So first, let's uncover the main benefits of CloudFront for iGaming companies. It's a content delivery network service with a vast amount of edge servers around the world that are connected via the AWS backbone network. iGaming customers can benefit from using CloudFront in these areas, serving cacheable content locally from CloudFront POPs by avoiding a round trip to the origin and the origin response time. Requests can shave off tens to hundreds of milliseconds in latency. We have also persisting connections to the origin. Sometimes the requests must be forwarded to the origin, such as when the content is not present in the local cache or when it's purely dynamic, such as APIs. Requests forwarded over persistent connections from POPs do not need to establish a new TCP or TLS secure connection to the origin, which removes the latency of multiple round trips. CloudFront natively provides features like compression, signed URLs, path-based routing, but also other things. It also creates another layer of security for your application. It has built-in protection against DDoS attacks on layer 3 and 4 via Shield standard. You can also connect it with AWS WAF, but we will talk about this in our next webinar. It can be set up also as a front door to your infrastructure, so nobody could access any server or origin behind directly.
Sometimes no, we actually face a situation the customer is actually using AWS Cloud, but they use third-party CDN kind of from another provider. Kind of in such cases, is it better to use a native Amazon CDN, or it does make any kind of difference, and we can use actually third-party CDN?
Yeah, yes, overall, it's always better to use Amazon CDN like CloudFront because you don't pay for the data transfer from AWS services like EC2, EKS, containers, and other stuff. And this alone can make a significant impact on the overall bill. CloudFront has some other technical advantages like persistent connections that I already mentioned. For example, if you have dynamic traffic going through it, it can save you some valuable milliseconds on TLS handshakes, among other benefits. At Stormit, we offer custom pricing with no minimum fee for those who use more than 1 terabyte of data transfer out to public internet from CloudFront POPs.
Got it. It seems kind of a no-brainer for me, basically. So it's kind of if you are on AWS Cloud, it's actually less expensive to use CloudFront, and then also get some additional performance benefits as well. So that's actually the clear winner here.
Yes, definitely.
Thanks for that.
And how CloudFront really helps to accelerate your game. CloudFront has multiple layers of caching to efficiently deliver content to players across the globe. These layers work together to store the static data and uses a global network of more than 600 points of presence, 13 regional edge caches in 100 cities across 50 countries, so it's all over the world. Next, we have Lambda Edge and CloudFront functions. These two services are tightly connected to CloudFront. They are really similar, but CloudFront functions overall are a little bit simpler to use, and the pricing for CloudFront functions is better. Gaming companies can implement dynamic content delivery strategies with them, perform real time processing, and personalize player experiences based on location and device, all while minimizing latency. You can automatically scale or run the code in edge locations of CloudFront around the world without deploying or managing any servers. It's really simple. This code can be, for example, Node.js or Python. I have seen a couple of use cases like changing redirections on the websites or using them for changing content based on the location of your clients or device, for example. And when we want to talk about low latency in AWS, we also need to focus on another service. It's Accelerator. Why? It has some great functions that you can leverage if you want to serve your content from multiple regions, and you need to have, for example, or hide it behind one domain and point it at one static IP or two static IPs. As Global Accelerator, it will give you two static IPs when you create it. It brings improved performance. Global Accelerator, same as CloudFront, uses AWS Global Network of Edges to optimize the path from your players to your iGaming servers, reducing latency and providing more responsive experience for players. This can be really crucial for real-time gaming, as Nazar mentioned. It also can help you with high availability because you can distribute the traffic across multiple AWS regions. And if, for example, one region experiences issues or downtime, traffic can be automatically redirected to other healthy regions, minimizing the disruptions for players. You can also customize the routing policies to meet the specific needs of your iGaming application. And also what it brings, it's DDoS protection, same as CloudFront. It includes built-in DDoS protection on third and fourth layer of SOSI, so it helps with this too. And what it really brings, and it's kind of specific for this service, it's a custom routing on TCP and UDP levels. And because CloudFront and Global Accelerator can seem really similar, we need to compare them. Global Accelerator is great if you need to use multiple regions to serve your content globally. CloudFront is great if you want to serve your content from one region, for example. Uh, Global Accelerator is great if you need static IP address. You also can have a great control over routing. And one thing that is really different between these two services, CloudFront is a caching service. Global Accelerator is not. So it's not possible to cache any content in Global Accelerator. But in CloudFront, this is the main function of the CDN. You can have some caching. And in CloudFront, you have some control over routing, but only like it's really simple. You are able to put multiple origins there, like VMs or buckets, but you are not able to choose the real routes behind it. You can definitely use it with load balancer for this, but yeah, it's really simple. So here is a simple diagram of architecture in AWS. We have a CloudFront distribution for content acceleration and caching. By caching game assets at edge locations and implementing custom logic with Lambda Edge or CloudFront functions, the company ensures low latency gameplay experiences for players across different regions.
Okay, that's good. But caching is just one aspect. But what about the use cases when you need the real-time speed? Like, for example, sports booking, when odds updates are critical. What about this case?
Actually, it's really simple. You can add multiple origins to your distributions and you can disable caching specifically. So you can cache the static content like pictures from the S3 buckets and don't cache parts like sportsbook. And you can still leverage CloudFront for acceleration and other functions. This means that your players will have quick access to the updated odds.
Yeah, perfect. This sounds really good. So basically, kind of you're able to cover also the content that you're not able to cache or you don't want to cache, and still really leverage the benefits of private network that AWS actually offers.
Yeah, definitely. This is the way how it works.
And that's it. That's it for today. So we discussed why low latency is one of the most critical issues when providing great customer experience in iGaming. And thank you very much, Adam, for actually your dedication and guiding us through the AWS Edge services portfolio. So now we actually know that we can use AWS services such as CloudFront, Lambda Edge, or Accelerator to enhance this user experience and keep your players engaged. Um, in case you have any question regarding AWS and iGaming workloads, please feel free to reach out to me or to Adam. And in any case, we really look forward to see you next time.
Yeah, thanks for watching and see you next time at another webinar about AWS for iGaming.